It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
This is the Cosmic Voice. Cosmic Voice. Music, talk, and nothing but business with your hosts, Chris Natalini and Mick Michaels. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Voice. This is Season 5, Episode 7. I am here with my co-host, Chris Natalini.
Hello, everyone.
And I am Mick Michaels. Welcome back, everyone, to another show. Chris, how are you, buddy? We're back.
We are back. I'm doing great, dude. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic.
Awesome.
We're rolling into Season 5, Episode 7 already. Didn't it just start? Yeah, 7 episodes ago. And before you know it, we'll be saying bye-bye to Season 5.
So, I know, ain't that crazy, man?
It is crazy.
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. You record, you edit, you upload, you release. You record, you edit. Boy, we haven't learned anything, have we? We're doing the same routine as we are as musicians. Oh, man.
We're creatures of habit.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe our message isn't right. I don't know. But you get into a habit, you stick with it until the bitter end, until someone says, get out of here, guys.
The bitter end, bro.
Bitter end. So what's been going on with you, man? Anything exciting?
So, yes, the holidays are technically over, I guess, in podcast world.
In podcast world, the holidays, bye-bye. Happy New Year.
Yes. But no, man, nothing really. As we're recording this, I'm pretty sure everybody knows we're a little ahead of the game. You and I like to kind of stay on top of it. So we here, as time of recording, we are not at the holiday yet. So that's really all we've been doing, man. Just get ready for the holiday. And, as we talked about last episode, just watching Christmas movies, and we're getting ready. We are getting ready. It's closer. It is getting closer.
The holidays, Christmas especially, is like being on tour where everything revolves around the show. Well, for 6 weeks, everything is... It's Christmas. Yeah. How are we doing the cookies? What shows we going to watch? We didn't catch this movie. Going to this gathering. I got to pick up this for such and such, so and so. Yeah, it's pretty hectic. I can see why people are relieved when it's over. I can also then see why people are truly bummed out when it's over because, again, it's all this hype. It's all this excitement. You got this laser-pointed focus, and then, boom, it's gone. Winter kicks in, at least here in Pennsylvania. Usually your Christmas lights are caught in the early snowstorm and not taken down till sometime in February. We know what the onslaught is from January, February, March. You know what I mean?
It's almost like I reference it back to, like, I call them the after show blues, right? Because, you build up and, you plan, you prepare, you're right. You're rehearsing, you're ready, you get your clothes, you know what you're wearing. Show happens and you hopefully it's good, and then the next day you're like, all right, when's the next one?
Yeah.
We've said it before on this show. I've been one to I'm very bad at that. Like I do it better now, but I haven't said on the show before, like I so focus on the next one that I never enjoy the moment of that show. I'm better now, but I miss so many great times and great shows because I was constantly just, focused on once that was over, I focused on the next one. But yeah, there's after show blue. So it's like an after holiday blue, right? Like, you spend all these weeks, you're preparing, you're cooking, you're buying gifts and watching movies, and then it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
I guess, again, there's no reason why it can't continue. However, in my case, I can't continue to eat. Could I continue to eat like that? Yes. Well, but it would be a real problem over, a short period of time. But, again, and a lot of people, I guess, they get them holiday blues after when they start getting the bills and they start realizing, oh, Lord, what have I done? my God, why have you forsaken me and my bank account? People forget that they're the ones, not God, that pulled out the card and went swipe, 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 swipe. Give me two of them, please. Swipe, swipe. So, and it's easy to do. Oh, my gosh. I mean, now everything's online. It's a press of a button. The cash never left my pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
that
too
kind
easy,
of thing.
man.
It's way too easy.
It's too easy just to swipe that card. I will say, going back to the last episode, we talked about, you and I had hit on the Grinch a little bit. My wife and I took in this movie that just came out, a very small, limited theater run called The Mean One. It was the Grinch as a holiday killer.
Oh, just what the kiddies want to hear.
You know what, bro? Let me tell you, first of all, this is what happens because the guy that plays the Grinch, his name is David Allen Thornton, and he is the gentleman who played Art the Clown in the Terrifier series. Well, Terrifier 2, that just came out pretty recently, it was made for $250,000 and it made $10 million in the theater.
Wow.
It's just a very small indie film, right? Well, so now all these movie studios are going, what? Indie horror movie? Let's just put it in the theater. Well, The Mean One probably should have never made it to the theater. I had a blast. I thought it was great. It's so B-rated. The money that they made must have been pennies because they had to CGI the blood later.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which looks like Sharknado.
Okay.
But you and I were talking about the Grinch, and they spent a fortune on the makeup because the guy looks unbelievable. It's very modeled after Jim Carrey's. We were talking about that last time. Modeled after the Jim Carrey's Grinch and very Jim Carrey characteristics, but he snuck in some of the animated stuff in there too, which was very, very super cool. So I was thinking about you when we went to see it because we were talking about the Grinch.
Well, was the theater packed? Was there a lot of people?
No? There's more people in this room right now.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You had a private screening then.
There was 10 of us, and I think 2 people left. So there was,
What did they expect? I'm just wondering, what did they expect? And they were so appalled they got up and left. I did that one time in the movie theater when I went to go see, I think it was Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I literally, and I know that's become like a kind of a cult classic, but I remember I was in the theater and I'm
very sad.
I was excited to see it. I don't know if I got through the first 40 minutes, and I think I took a date to it, and I said, we're out of here. We're leaving. Bye. I go, let's go get something to eat. I was like,
we're going to Denny's.
Yeah, or something like that.
It was a very limited run. They only did, I was probably less than in the beginning stages. I don't even know if they were doing 50 screens countrywide. And then I think they moved it to 100 maybe. If I understand it correctly. And it was only for, just the weekend, Thursday or Friday to Sunday. And that'll probably be on demand if it's not on demand right now. Yeah, so I thought of you because it was the Grinch, and it's always.
The funny thing is, whether if it was good or not, besides the point. If they did such a limited release, it was only Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, or whatever.
Yeah,
and for one weekend, they probably still made good money.
I am sure. I mean, the
probably needed it to get into the streaming services distribution.
That could be very well. And the really good, the real reason why I brought it up, Mick, is they don't have the rights to use any of the. They couldn't Whoville. They couldn't use the Grinch. They had to really work around it.
Right.
And the town that the Grinch terrorized was called Newville, and it was very stuff like that. Every time one of the characters would say Grinch, somebody would yell Mike Finch. It was really well done how they did it. And there was a narrator over it, kind of like the original cartoon.
Sure.
And just totally rhymed like Dr. Seuss. And there was a character in the movie called Dr. Zeus.
Nice.
And it was well written.
So good
silly,
parody. Yeah, good parody. Good silly parody.
Yeah, it was.
Good.
Yeah, it's exactly what I expected it to be. Bad and good all the same time.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you can get in touch with that company, we may be able to get the Cosmic Voice movie out and about and do it on a very low budget.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
You know what I mean? 2 straps in the making. Strap and restrap.
Oh, man. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Fred.
All right.
It's Russ the Boss.
This is Stephen Pearson from Rat, the Rat Bastard. You're listening to the Cosmick Voice.
All right, so let's get to the topic of tonight's show. It is how fans can help bands succeed. How fans can help bands succeed. Before we pass the torch to the king of fan support, Chris Natalini, I want to kind of throw out there that this topic can go either way, right? And in my experience, you have people on the one side saying one thing, and you have people on the other side saying another thing. And sometimes it's conflicting. What they feel fan support is, what artists feel fan support should be, what they're not getting, that type of thing. It's not necessarily that we're pointing fingers and saying you should do this, you should do that. This is kind of some general, right? I would more or less say general.
Yeah.
And then some things from our perspective as fans, music fans, supporters of other bands, both big and small. And then from an artist perspective of what we've seen works mutually for band and fan. Because a lot of times it's one-sided.
Yes.
Right? What a lot of people think is fan support to a national or big name act, and then they do things for the fans, is really not. It's more of a gimmick to just grab more of your money. And I understand that because everybody needs to make money to continue to do what they're doing. However, I do truly believe that fan support is different for indie and the trench bands than it is compared to your big nationals, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, the fan king himself, Chris Natalini, he's going to give us his insight here. Chris, take it away, sir.
You're kind of right. This doesn't really, this conversation could probably, listen, it all kind of ends up the same, but this is more of like an indie level kind of conversation. I'm not really talking about, buying tickets to the Metallica tour and to help. That's obviously that supports them, but like my thinking is when we have this conversation of what fans can do, it's more about the indie level, because if you're a national band, a big national band, then you're going to buy the tickets and you're going to go to the shows and do the VIP and the whole thing. So for me, on an indie level, the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, now I am an old school kind of guy. I still buy CDs. And it really bums me out, like when I go to a band's band camp and they only have, stuff to buy digitally, which, listen, in this day and age, I totally understand. I get why bands don't put out CDs, because sometimes it's just not cost effective. And I get that. I really, really do. But for me, I like to buy CDs. But if you can't buy a CD, then obviously, you buy it digitally, right? It's pretty straightforward how to support a band. We're going to just get the kind of more obvious stuff out of the way. Or first, I believe, if that's what you're thinking, Mick,
Sure.
Buy their music, of course. That is really number one, because, you want to we all want our music to be heard. That's first and foremost. We all want our music to be heard. So if someone buys CD or downloads your stuff, then they'll tell their friends, oh my God, this band's awesome, you should check them out. And listen, in this day and age, it's so much easier to file share. Back in our day, we would burn cassettes or burn CDs and trade them. Listen, as much as it bothers me that artists don't get paid, we really did the same thing. We really were. We were Napster before Napster. Because back in the day, like, that's how Metallica got known, right? Metallica, Anthrax, all the big guys, we all tape traded. It's just what we did. I still have in a box, like, a lot of, tapes that were given to me by friends. I eventually would buy the vinyls and or CDs, later on. But buy music, that's the most important, because you want to tell your friends, and that's what's going to get people to the shows, to come see you at the local venue, or, follow you on social media, which I'm sure we will get into. And then, of course, shirts or hoodies or hats or, whatever, any kind of merch a band has. A big way to support them is wearing their merchandise. You're supporting that band. You're showing people your love for the band. So if people see the shirt, they may ask about, oh, cool, who's that band? And you go, oh, it's, such and such. And you lead people to check them out, and hopefully they'll buy a shirt and or CD and or digital download, whatever the case may be. And so really, at the end of the day, buying for me, like, right off the bat, I automatically think buying merch, no matter what it may be. If it's clothing of some kind, you're going to wear it, so you're going to show your support and love for that band. Or if you're just, if you're not a merch person, which I get, then you buy the CD or the digital download or cassette or vinyl, whatever is selling. And I know it's tough. I know things are expensive nowadays. They really are. And T-shirts have now become $26 to $30, and it's crazy. But I get it because the price of everything has gone up. Pretty much black and white right off the top of my head. It's to buy merch or music.
Yeah, there's some right off the bat that a lot of people talk about. And again, I'm going back to what you said. We'll talk primarily about the indie into trench level type of bands because, again, they're the ones that are really struggling and, doing what they can to keep their little machine going. I mean, because, you and I are part of that, and that's what we do. Some of the things that they say, buy tickets, attend their shows. If they're local to where you're at, then, go out and see the show. Keep this in mind, though, that most bands don't control the price of the ticket or the price of admission.
Yeah.
That's usually a venue and or a promoter booking agent that's putting the show together, or a combination of the two. Sometimes that weighs heavily on the headlining act.
Yeah.
Right? So that kind of balances out. And understand that by buying tickets, if that local band, that indie band, that in the trench band is supporting a national act, a lot of times they have to cover something. They have to sell some tickets themselves. Sometimes they get a cut, sometimes they don't. It all depends. Every deal is slightly different. However, if you know a band that you want to go see, or you know the band and you plan to go see them, buy the ticket from that band. Yep. Don't skip over and go, I'll pick one up at the door. Well, they don't get it, right? They don't get the credit. They don't get the support. And they may not receive any financial compensation from the sale of that ticket. Don't buy it online unless the band has set up a separate link for it. That way, it helps the band. It helps the band several different ways. Again, it could pay back in terms of some kind of compensation financially. But it also pays back in like good credit, good standing business credit towards the venue, towards the booker, because they're bringing into the house. They're bringing in an audience. So that's a big deal. If the band's playing and you want to go see them, or you're hoping to go see them, or you plan to go see them, buy a ticket from them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Which then leads to, you can't ask to come for free. Because again, it's going to cost that band.
Yeah.
Right? They either have to pay it out of what they were going to get cut for the performance, if that's even part of it, or, they just got to pay it out of their pocket. There has been shows where I've brought people where I've paid it out of my own pocket, saying, well, I didn't want to charge them. I didn't want to ask them for any money. Unfortunately, they never asked. That being said, we oftentimes, when it's a show that we can, we'll comp a couple tickets to some people that have been very supportive of us.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yep.
To me, that money going out or whatever I'd have to cover for that is outweighed by the type of support that you get from certain people. So it's like, it's no big deal. You're not really looking for the reciprocation in terms of anything else but their continued support of your band. And that's long term, right? You really need that long term. The other thing is if you're going to shows, bring some friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
If you're going to buy tickets, now, again, if there's shows that I've worked to put together, like I'm from the creation of it, well, then sometimes I can swing some ticket deals. I can put packages together, both with merch and or groups. Hey, you're going to buy 5 tickets? Well, we'll make a deal with you. It's not a problem. And there's even national shows that once I get sponsors and I know what the mix is and all, I can then privately offer deals to some of the tickets to get more people there, right?
Sure, yeah.
Asses in the seats, bucks in the buckets.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
You like putting your hand down your pants? Well, maybe you do. But how about in your pocket and feeling only your leg? I don't know if that's going to get censored or not. But anyway, the next thing they talk about is you want to buy merch, like Chris said, buy merch directly from the band.
Yeah.
Right? Buy music directly from the band. Again, talking about the live shows, if they have a merch table, go up. If you're digging the band and you want to buy something, that's the place to do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's definitely the place to do it, because that merch is really a lifeline. When we're on tour, that merch sales can be the make or break of the whole tour for each show.
Yeah, that's 100%.
I've done some great shows, and then there's some shows that you think you're going to do real well, and you don't. And I'll tell you, those shows that don't do real well, this is from my assessment over the years, ticket price was way too high.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Drink price was way too high, and people are going to balance it out. Well, look, I already paid such and such to get here. Now, depending on the area, they may have had to pay for parking.
Yep.
Right? To some degree. They probably ate a little earlier, and now the drink prices are a bit higher. And like Chris pointed out a little earlier, everything's up. So then the last thing is like, well, if I want to take a piece of the band home, well, that'd be the thing that I can't do right now. Hey, and then the question is, you guys on Spotify? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of that. You know what I mean? So if you can buy merch and music directly from the band, that's the way to do it. CDs still do well at merch tables. And there's different types of CD packages, right? You don't have to go jewel case. If that's kind of expensive or it's bulky, I mean, you can get it all the way down to a plastic insert. It's just a plastic piece with a paper insert. You know, it could be anything. Listen, I've been at shows where they were just burned CDRs with a marker with a Sharpie on it. And people were buying them, $3, $5, whatever. Listen, if you present it properly, you can make things work. I've always been someone who says, listen, the best possible presentation for what your budget will allow. Yeah. And I think regardless of the budget, you can make some things really, really stand out. And the other thing Chris was starting to say, share the band's social media posts. Right now, that's the new world, right? Social media. Love it, hate it, whatnot. Does it really work? Doesn't it really work? We're not talking about that right now. But if that's the visual presence of the band, of the artist that you like, then share their stuff. Right? It's like the poster days when you would hang up a poster or whatever. Well, that's what you do now. You're postering it all over the internet, where you can see it, when you can see it, who can see it, that kind of thing. You know, share that kind of stuff. Share the experience. That's some of your basic stuff. You'll see that on the internet. You'll see people talking about it. You know, they're the kind of things that, you know, you want that fan support to really pay off and do for you. That's the beginning steps, but I think there's a little bit more to that too. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, man, and you know, sharing literally takes less than a second. Like, literally, you don't think. I mean, if you want to tag and you know, hashtag and do all that stuff, then that's cool too. But if you share a band's page, the band gets notified. So, you know, we do know who's sharing our stuff. You know, it literally takes a second. Now, if you want to go beyond that, then maybe boost the post. You know, maybe throw $5 for the week. You know, because you may reach more people than, unfortunately, the band's page reaches on a post. You know, with all the stuff in social media and shadow banning and all that, algorithms and all that stuff, like, it's really hard to get people to see your stuff. And you know, I said something to a mutual friend of ours. He posted a picture of himself and he got like over 300 likes and like 200 comments. So I texted him real quick. I said, hey man, the next time you decide to do that, you should put a band flyer with your post, because it's the only way that people are going to see your post. Like, because when you put it out from your band, nobody sees it. It's just how it is, right?
Right. And
then the other thing I was going to mention too, we were talking about, social media, Twitter, Instagram, like anything, you know, it takes no time just to share. Or if you're on Instagram, you know, unfortunately, Instagram is a little harder to share, but if you want to put in the extra minute to, you know, screenshot the flyer or whatever, then that's cool too. Or in Twitter, obviously, it's, you know, nothing but a retweet. I mean, that's, you know, it's nothing. If you want to pay for a boost post, that's cool too. But again, you know, with money, I totally understand. But going back to what you were saying, Mick, about going to a show and you've just spent so much money, you know, that it's hard to buy merch. Here's another option for the band, for the indie band, the artist, whatever. Make sure you have a Venmo account or a PayPal or whatever. Buy one of those little credit card readers that hook up right up to your phone. I think they're less than $20. I don't even know if they're that much. And I think for a subscriber, I'm not sure if you need a subscription for them. I'm not really sure, but they cost nothing to hook up to your phone and swipe your card. So if people don't have cash, then that's another way to get merch. And, you know, just set up a PayPal or a Venmo account and say, you know, if the person says, hey, I love your stuff, it's great, I'm sorry I can't, you know, because I've run into this a few times where people go, oh man, you know, I'm really sorry I don't have any cash to buy any merch. I'll go, well, I have Venmo, PayPal, like the band has, if you're comfortable. 9 out of 10 times people go, oh, that'd be great. And then maybe you cut them a little discount. You know, and go, all right, well, listen, because you're Venmoing or PayPaling me, whatever, it's cool. You know, maybe the CD's $10, you give it to them for $7, or shirts 15, you give it to them 10. Whatever gets it off the table and into somebody's hands, do it. So if you have a Venmo, I mean, Venmo and PayPal and all that cash apps, they're nothing. They're so easy to go, dig, there you go. There's your money, and you're still supporting the band. Again, I know money's tight nowadays, but if you've spent a lot of cash already and you're not, you don't have any cash on you, because a lot of merch tables only take cash. That's another way to help bands to buy merch. If you don't have cash, make sure you, as an artist, have another way of getting income. And people don't carry cash anymore, so.
The other side to the coin is it's up to the band or the artist to create an environment where fan support is supported, right? So now I do know that on Facebook now, they have that fan appreciation, that interaction feature now, that if, each week, if you have a follow page, one of those follow pages, which I think they're all being converted over to anyway.
I think so, yeah.
They'll give you this listing of, hey, here's your top 5, 10 interactors over the past week, and now you can make that known, give them some props. And there's a post, my band has just started using them, and it really gets people kind of excited to see their name in a post for a band that they like, and maybe they follow, but they don't get to see all their posts. They're not there every day, but all of a sudden, that's just a boost to say, hey, let me do a little bit more. Like when I used to get those badges, I remember when I got a Paul Stanley page badge. I was excited.
Like a fan badge.
I was like, oh my God, I got a screenshot of it and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even I got one for Dee Snider once, and one for Twisted Sister, and I was like, yeah. So I mean, I got excited. So that's a good way, right? Take advantage of that. Use some of the good that social media offers to keep people engaged. Use some of that. I think with merch, and this is something my band has always tried to do, and I think it's just something that's kind of innate to me, because listen, I'm not a fan of paying $50 for a t-shirt, whether it's a band t-shirt or just a regular t-shirt that I got to go buy at the store. Like, you got to be kidding me, right?
Yeah.
So if you can find a way, and there are ways to make merch less expensive, if your cost goes down, you pass that cost off to the fan, right?
That's true too. Yep.
You do the best that you can that way. Now, I mean, there are some things. Listen, I've been with some bands on the road. They got a store, like they must have bought one of everything that was available in that catalog. Well, some of that stuff's cool looking, but who uses it? Yeah. Why use it, right? I've seen guys charge $4 or $5 for a pick that has their name screen printed on it. It's crazy. We have some picks we give away that have Corners of Sanctuary on it.
Right.
We have some nice picks. I think we sell for $1 a piece, but that's about it. That's the highest. Yeah. And I think you get a couple of them. And then we have some custom pick stuff that you'll get like 6 of them for, I don't know, it's like under $10, but they're mounted on a card and all that, so they're more of like a collector's piece. But I mean, $3 for a pick? I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, there's some things that I know that the price is the price, but that doesn't mean that you have to overcharge. Everybody wants to... Listen, here's the thing. If you're 100% over what say like you paid $3 for something and you're selling it for $12, well, there's a lot of room there. And you're wondering, why isn't it selling? Like, if you only sell one and you still got 10 boxes, then it ain't working, right? That's not the Walmart method. If you could lower it down, if you paid $3 and you sell it for $6, well, you made 100%. You doubled your money. And now you're selling all of them. The Rocky Marciano thought was, he got to a point where after he was done fighting, he was doing a store opening, or you go talk to somebody, or meet and greets, handshakes, meet and greets, kissing babies, cutting ribbon. Well, he would always work out a price before it, and he would ask for cash. If they didn't have the $600, just say, we have a check. We have no cash. He goes, well, I got to take cash. Well, we can't. What do you got in cash? Because somebody goes, well, I can get $450 together in an hour. Well, I'll take the $450. You keep the rest. He'd rather have cash.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that, but I don't want to talk about that on the show, because that's not what the show's about, and I don't need anybody breathing down our necks. So...
You are listening to The Cosmic Voice with your hosts, Chris Natalini and Mick Michaels.
So if a band can keep their merch to a certain level, then make it more affordable, well, maybe it'll entice fans. Because I've sold things, like this past year, all our T-shirts, regardless of what they were $10. People's like, man, you can't beat that. Once you start getting over a certain price for some things, people are like, I don't know, hit or miss, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing that bands can do to get that fan support, and again, a lot of it does have to, you want fan support, bands and artists have to do a lot of legwork. They have to earn it.
Yeah.
Right? They have to earn it. It's just like respect. It's anything else. You have to earn that. Create packages, affordable packages. Don't be afraid to wheel and deal. What do you got? What do you want? What do you want? What do you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How about, listen, give me 20, I'll give you a T-shirt, I'll give you a CD, and I'll throw some stickers and a wristband and stuff like that. People go nuts. People love stickers. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, when I was 5, I liked stickers. And then when I had that little, I forget what they were called, but I had one of those, they were play sets, but they were those stick-on board things, and you could take them off and put them back on. You create these little, what are they called?
Forms.
Was that what they were? Color forms, yeah. I had one, a Kiss. It was just amazing. I wish I could find it. Do they still sell them?
I don't think so, man. I don't know. I mean, I never really thought about
that's
it.
That's a 70s thing, man. You know what I mean? I remember them days. They had some of the greatest toys. Yeah,
I used to love color forms. Love them.
Yeah.
Love them.
I love them. They were great. I hate it when they couldn't stick anymore, but you tried.
Yeah,
until I broke out the glue, and then I could never get them off again. I had the Kiss one from the TV movie, the Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Yeah.
And it was in the laboratory, and there was this big laser beam, and even though that big laser beam wasn't really part of the whole show, but the color form playset thing, they really made it. So.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, listen, don't be afraid to wheel and deal. James is our resident salesman. He likes working the table because he likes those package deals. He likes making the package deals and getting people to do add-on sales, right? And there's nothing wrong with saying that. You can get fan support by getting add-on sales if you make them affordable and you're giving them something for their value.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if listen, somebody's willing to hand over $20, $40, $50, you got to make it worth their while. And I realize, again, if all you're counting on is that, well, then you're not doing your work everywhere. Remember, it's a complete package. It's a 360, your own 360 deal. You got to figure that out, right? Especially for us indie guys. We create our own 360 package, whether it's this, that, and the other thing, but make each one count. And if you're trying to gain fan support, you make it affordable. What better way than save them money, but get them the stuff that they want? They're taking a piece of your home. It's great. That's a win-win. Because, as you said many times before, you're really building these relationships for long-term. You don't want someone to just, they come to the show and that's it, and then they you guys did great. See ya. And you never, you know. I mean, we've been fortunate enough. We're going on 12 years. There's guys that I'll see from shows years ago. They're still coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, to me, that's kind of the best support that you can ever have. Yep. And again, I guess that's where it is on the big levels. You have these people that have been with you, your long-term career. And even though there isn't that artist-fan interaction to that level, because it's just it's a whole different beast. For us indie guys, we have that opportunity to take advantage of that and, make those type of connections. A lot of those connections are made at the merch table.
Yep.
That's, to me, it's a win-win where fans are going to support the bands, and the bands can support that support by giving them something of value that isn't going to cost them an arm and a leg.
Yeah. The one thing that I've really been seeing a lot of for my band, which has been really super cool, is going back to social media. A lot of people follow, there's a ton of internet radio stations out there now. Sometimes these radio stations will post, hey, do you know any bands that, maybe we don't play on the station, or maybe somebody's, just maybe somebody's show off a said station will put out, hey, looking for new bands, tag the band you like that isn't getting played on that station. That's a really cool thing to do. I've been getting pretty frequently. I've been getting a lot of them for, my band, and I'm able to contact that station and or DJ, and, I'm able to get my stuff played on there, and and that builds a relationship with that station and or DJ, and you never know what's going to come out of them because the internet radio right now is such a big thing, and a lot of those stations and DJs put on local shows, some of them anyway. If you build that relationship, then hopefully they'll have your band out and put you in an area with people that have never seen you before. And I think that's really cool too. And that takes, again, just like sharing a post, that takes nothing to tag, a band that you like and go, hey, this band, check these guys out. And it leads me to go, oh, okay, cool. I'll check out this person or this station and this DJ, and we'll hook up and I'll send them stuff. And that takes nothing but a minute.
Actually, just in the last 6 months, Facebook has made it a little easier to tag those pages, to tag those bands. So take advantage of it. Like Chris said, unless you know those particular handles, both on Instagram and Twitter, it may take a little bit more work.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, if you can get your information straight, at least it's out there. Yeah. Speaking of like some of the digital platforms, Spotify now has that fan support to help artists grow their portfolio. I'm not super aware of it. But
me neither.
But it is helping artists monetize some things where they can sell merch, show tickets. I know a couple months ago there was that talk about now what does that mean for artists and shows and ticket prices now that Spotify has jumped into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, there's a way that where if you like something, you can donate some money or you can show your appreciation by, throwing something, some type of, digital currency towards the band that can be used, somewhere else or whatever. And I think that's Spotify's way, and this is just my personal opinion, to offset how they're not really paying artists.
Yeah.
So they're giving artists the opportunity to showcase what it is they have so that maybe some of the pressure, because again, some bands are going to do real well with it, and other bands it's going to be like crickets. It's like everything else, right? Yeah. Probably the majority of those people, it's going to be crickets. Yeah. There'll be that, there's always that 1%, right? And in that 1%, a very small percent of the 1% actually score that, I make $6 million a year and I don't have a record contract, and one of those kind of stories. I think fan support and bands supporting fans go hand in hand, like I said at the top of this show. And the new thing is you have to we talked about this before, you wear your heart on your sleeve, you post everything out there, you take it all in, right? I'm still old school. I'm a private person, so I don't necessarily buy into that. I know it's a new model, and it's working for some people. If you feel that's the way to do it, sometimes you'll gain fan support that way. But then you'll also run the risk of fans taking advantage of those type of things.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden we go back to they're asking for free stuff. Can you do that? Send me this. And I get that. I get it. I don't get a ton of it, but you guys are asking for this, and people are asking. I get emails, and they expect you to just do it. That old idea, the customer's always right thing. Well, the fan should always get what they ask for type of thing. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because you can't do that in other professions.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You can't go into a restaurant and go, well, listen, I just bought all this, this meal, can I get free desserts? Most people wouldn't even ask if you got a coupon for it. No, well then you got to pay for it. Listen, are there waiters and waitresses, and sometimes the management, do they comp certain patrons? Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you get, I've been in places where I frequent quite regularly. They'll bring out a very small dessert and say, hey, this is something new we're working on, can you try it out? Or
right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
That's different. That's a choice. I didn't go begging for it, but just because I go there all the time doesn't mean that I deserve to get anything free. Right? There's nothing free in this way. You wouldn't go to your mechanic, your heart surgeon, whatever, and say, listen, since I got those tires rotated, would you mind putting on a new timing belt for me? That kind of thing. It doesn't, for free. No, I don't think it works like that. So, and I think, so, yeah, I know, but I think that way bands and artists are looked at, even within their own community of bands and other artists, that everybody should be giving everything away for free. Even artists and bands feel that way. Yeah. Because we've been conditioned for such. It's like, it's expected to give it away for free. Well, Nine Inch Nails gave their stuff for free. Well, okay. I'm not 9 Inch Nails. It doesn't work like that. They did it as a promo thing, and now everybody has to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Even some of these, listen, I'm going to just throw this out there, but even some of these, early on, even some of these internet radio guys, they were getting free stuff all the time, and some of them were selling this stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they would get like, hey, you give me, 50 songs, and they'll get $20 thrown at them, and you sell your mother for $20. And then all of a sudden, your stuff is on some, site, and it's being ripped and torn, and it sounds like crap anyway.
Yeah.
I always used to say, listen, if you're going to steal the stuff from me, buy it from me first. Ask me. I'll at least give you a good copy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've had some stuff out there that's like, oh, my God, no wonder they think we stink. I wouldn't want to listen to this. I had a review once. I think I told this story before, but I had a review once on a set of songs for an album that those songs weren't on. Somebody had just pieced together some stuff that they had ripped off from some site and called it an album. I'm like, well, these aren't, one, they sound horrible. Two, they're not even an album. It's not even, that's that first impression. Yeah.
And first impressions are everything.
They really are, man, because, I don't know. You see how you felt about the mean one, early on. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Listen, there's a lot of stuff, and you can look at it a lot of different ways. I know some people will have their favorites or their... I think the bottom line is, you go to the shows, you support the bands. If you can't afford stuff, you can't afford stuff, right? If you're, but like Chris said, if you can't afford to buy the merch, then share a post. Write a post. Say, hey, listen, last night I was at such and such a venue, and I seen this artist, this band. They did a tremendous job. They never ceased to amaze me, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That could go a long, long way.
Yeah.
There's guys that have done that for us, unprovoked, unasked, and they seem to do it quite often or whatever, and I throw them something. Like, hey, man, here's a digital download of our album. Like, what's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's me saying it. What's that? What difference does it make? But again, the flip side is somebody takes it from me, and it's like, yo, dude, what are you taking my stuff for? It doesn't, well, you just gave it to... Yeah, that was a choice. I made that choice. You don't need to make that choice for me. Right. We got enough of that in this world. People making choices for you. I think that if bands in return show some type of fan support, fan appreciation, whether it's pointing to them during the show, thank you, throwing a pic, giving a bracelet, whatever, bringing them up on stage. If it's local stuff, I mean, we do that with our song On the Hunt. People seem to get a kick out of it. It's real easy, too, On the Hunt. You can't get it wrong. And you get up there and you have a good time with it. So it's little things like that, I think, that go a long way with both fan and artist. It really is. It's those minor things. Because, again, you could have a guy that spends $100 and then you never see him again. You never hear from him again. Those CDs probably never made it out of his car.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't even know why I bought these, and he throws them out. So that's not the type of fan you're trying to acquire. Right. What else you got? You got anything else?
No, man, I don't think so. I mean, all the topics I hit were ones I wanted to make sure that I got in.
So listen, do what you can. Bands you like, spread the word. Word of mouth, man. It still works, even in the digital social media age today. Word of mouth. Unless you don't talk to anybody, then I don't know what to say. Type it out, text it out, message it out. DM, PM, whatever else that stuff is. Let people know about it. If you like this episode, check out some of our other episodes at www.thecosmicvoice.com. Step into the Cosmic Verse and fill that void. Thanks so much for listening. This is the Cosmic Voice. Be sure to check us out at thecosmicvoice.com. Like and follow us on Facebook at The Cosmic Voice. You can find The Cosmic Voice everywhere you listen to online podcasts, like Deezer, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, and so many more.
Okay, folks, that will do it for another episode of The Cosmic Voice. Mick and I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
You're listening to The Cosmic Voice. Music, talk, and nothing but business.